You see the final score, we track the revenue stream. Welcome to the show that treats the sports world like the multi-billion-dollar business it is. We dissect the ownership deals, the television right battles, the NIL impact, and the media figures driving the entire narrative. From Wall Street to the locker room, we follow the money and the people who control the message. Welcome to Press Row, the business of sports, right here on the Empty the Bench Network. Now, here's your hosts, Callan and McClurg and Nick Morgasen. Hello, everybody. The sirens have, in fact, blared. We have breaking news. It is another Code Red edition of Press Row on ETB, where, again, news is broken in the sports world. As you heard, we've got sirens blaring, and we are in emergency mode right here on ETB. As always, that is Nick Morgasen joining us in Plainview, New York. Callan McClurg here in San Diego, and we are working closely with sources, reporters, and social media feeds and more to bring you clear, accurate reporting on this breaking news story in sports. As a quick reminder, gang, make sure you follow us on social media. We are at ETB Network, and also more importantly, we're at Press Row ETB. We're actually streaming now live on the Press Row ETB Twitter account, so give us a follow over there for all of your sports media and business news. And also make sure you subscribe to us at youtube.com/ETB Network, because we're getting ever so closer to the 4,000 watch hour goal. Mr. Morgasen, I don't think you expected to be here talking about a certain sport, but I've been following this story, though, for almost the entire morning. And I knew that this was going to be an undercurrent, though, as we came out of the holiday break. But Nick, great to see you, my man. And I know that we were hoping for one more day of rest away from ETB, but sometimes the news cycle says get on the air.
Yeah, no, this is my favorite part of this show, when big media news breaks. And excuse me, we're going to try to do some of these a little more often when news breaks, because I guarantee you we're going to get a lot of news breaking in the next couple of weeks, especially when the WNBA labor drama decides to break. People were probably thinking that we were coming on the air because we were going to break something with WNBA lockout drama. That is not the case. You can rest assured there is no WNBA lockout drama for one day. So you can rest assured on that front. But we're going to talk about the ECHL players' strike today.
And I said that because I don't think Nick expected to be talking about hockey on this program here today, but here we are.
You know what, though? I did my due diligences. I actually feel like I can hold my own in this conversation a little bit now. So just to give an idea of what we're talking about, the players of the ECHL are officially on strike. They decided to go on strike. It's not a lockout. It's not what's going on with the W right now, where they're trying to decide between a lockout or strike. This is officially declared by the players of the ECHL. So they've officially disrupted the operation. Whether it was warranted or not warranted, we can get into. But there's a lot happening. We can talk about all the Twitter accounts. I've been all over it like a hawk, like crazy, because a bunch of the different teams have dropped let's just call a spade, a canned statement by the ECHL, basically saying that blaming it on the players, where have we heard that before, where we decided to blame the players? Oh, the W?
Yes.
So yeah, this is getting blamed on the players. And now, well, actually, the weird thing is we were waiting to see if we were going to go live because there was one game left. And I kept saying to you, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, so one game is going to go and play tonight while everybody else is going to postpone. How many games were supposed to be on tonight?
We were supposed to have 13 games in the ECHL. So for those who are wondering, by the way, real quick, let me kind of get a bit more of the meat and potatoes. The ECHL and the Professional Hockey Players Association, it's the PHPA you're seeing on the screen, they have now reached a total impasse. As of today, the players have authorized a strike. 13 games across the country have been postponed, leaving thousands of fans at empty arenas across North America on one of the biggest days in the hockey calendar. Now, before I go further, because I know a lot of people are probably wondering aloud if this affects me in any way, shape, form, or size because I work within the sport. This is the league below the American Hockey League. So this is the AA ranks that are currently on strike, not my organization in San Diego, not my league in the American Hockey League. The league below us has gone on strike. And Nick, we have actually been following a Twitter account today from one of the best in the business from Tony Androkidix, who is a AHL writer for my league, but also has been covering this whole story as well. Now, this actually, Nick, also happened beforehand today that the Gulls, my employer, my organization in San Diego, we called up one player today from our affiliate in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Oilers, because we have a guy away playing in a different tournament over the course of the next, I'd say, 5 to 7 days, if not longer. But then, though, Nick, the other big story, though, came out, obviously, as games were being canceled or postponed, and there were 2 games that were left, and I told Morgasen, we're not going to do anything with this story until every game's postponed. There were a couple of holdouts left with Savannah in South Carolina, and I believe the other one was Jacksonville and Orlando were both the last 2 holdouts. But really early this morning, Tulsa, who's our affiliate in the East Coast League with San Diego and Anaheim, they were one of the first teams to put out a statement, hey, the game's been postponed because of the strike. And then gradually, Nick, more and more games are starting to get postponed as the last, I'd say, 3 to 5 hours have trickled off the clock today.
Well, it's one of those one size fits all, right? Where eventually if one game postpones, you have to remember when you work in an operation with the Players Association, whether it's the W, whether it's the ECHL, whether it's any professional league, if one game cancels, everyone is going to cancel because you're not going to leave your other players out in the cold. You're just not going to do it. So usually when one game cancels, everyone around the league or the operation is going to know that's happening and everyone else is going to cancel. But I don't know if the games were necessarily canceled by the teams. The players just authorized a strike. It didn't show up. I think that's what happened here.
Yeah, and further, for those who are wondering, and there were 13 games scheduled. This was supposed to be the first day back for the ECHL after the Christmas break. If anyone out there is curious about who was supposed to play tonight, though no one probably really knows these markets still, but it was Trios Rivetus, which is up in Quebec, versus Adirondack Falls, New York. We had Norfolk and Greensboro, Orlando, Jacksonville, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, and Greenville, Worcester and Maine, Wheeling, Toledo, Kalamazoo, Cincinnati, Indy, and Fort Wayne, Bloomington versus Iowa, Kansas City versus Tulsa, which again affected my organization with our affiliate down there, Allen versus Wichita, in Idaho versus Utah. All those games have all been canceled as of the last couple of hours here today.
Okay, I have the way you said that now makes me think a question here. You said this was the first day that they came back off the holiday break?
This was supposed to be the first day back from the break.
Come on, you can't tell me that's not a coincidence, right?
Not a coincidence, and mainly because the players in their statement had written, and we'll talk about this, Nick, and further, is the distance with this league and the travel demands were one of the main things that have been brought up, though. But first, though, Nick, let's get to this. Let's get to our first couple of questions. Nick, though, today, though, how catastrophic is the timing, though, of this strike for a league? Much like, Nick, any other minor league sport, I would probably say more like minor league baseball more than anything else, which operates mainly on razor-thin profit margins and relies heavily on holiday gate revenue, let alone, Nick, on tickets being sold. How catastrophic is this in your mind?
It's big. On a 1 not being that bad and 10 being catastrophic, I see this going past the 10 because think about what happened when we had the issues with the MIL BPA when we it was only a couple of years ago that they finally formed a MIL BPA and to protect these players because these players were getting paid peanuts to play in games and
they were getting paid peanuts. They were getting terrible meals between games. There was no post-game spread, and every trip is on the bus.
And they had to go work jobs the same day sometimes that they were playing games.
Yes.
Which means they weren't being paid enough. So I kind of look at it in that regard, where they finally had to put an MILBPA together to protect these players who were making no money. Some were making thousands, not even like tens of thousands in the minors. Like it wasn't livable wage to afford to be a ball player in the minors. Why do you think every time a major league player goes down to the minors when they go on a rehab assignment, why do you think they're the one that pays for the dinners or puts out the big spread, or they buy the players suits when they're down there? Why do you think they do that?
Exactly.
Because they're the ones that made the time. Well, now.
Not related to our story, Nick. Kyle Winningham, 5-year deal to Michigan, officially official.
If we have time at the end, maybe we could talk about that. But, yeah, I look at this as minor league baseball, where they had issues with labor. And this is the same thing. And I'm looking at some of the information because I was kind of trying to sift through all the mumbo jumbo to understand it. So apparently a 19.8%, or if you really want to just talk round numbers, 20% increase to the salary cap was immediate, which was on the table. The players didn't even blink. Like, they didn't even look at it, which I said to you before we got started. I said, that doesn't sound right to me, that the players didn't even blink and look at the offer that was put out by the ECHL for the owners. But at the same time, maybe they just knew that the number was nowhere near, kind of like what the W is facing right now with a revenue percentage, that they just realized that they're never going to agree, or they're not even in the same ballpark for. Now, I don't know if this is revenue or if this is just salaries. Is that what we're talking about?
Salaries, yeah.
So this is not even talking about revenue. I don't even know if ECHL players get league revenue or not. I don't know.
That part I couldn't tell you. And like I said, though, as well, though, and Nick, I think it's right, though, that, a lot of the markets I read today of games of teams playing, all these, to use the Mr. Small Market, tagline, a lot of these markets, Nick, are very small. Again, our affiliate is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for example. Again, not really, small market, still medium-sized market. But I mean, Adirondack Falls, New York, and Norfolk, Virginia, down in Florida, Savannah, Georgia, a lot of those markets. And I know, I've seen this, Nick, though, firsthand when the Gulls were in the ECHL about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, maybe more like 20 to 22 years ago. I remember when I was a part of the kids club back then, we used to have an end of year party with some of the players at the arena in the press dining lounge. And my dad and I would go every year, and we'd see all the guys and stuff. And I remember my dad asking our goalie, Eddie Fair, at one point during one of the parties we had. He said, Eddie, what happens with you guys if you ever get a call from the then Mighty Ducks to go and move up the ladder? He said, if that happens, I'm on the first flight out to Cincinnati, Ohio to go play in the American Hockey League, and I have to fly back to Anaheim or fly back here if I get sent back.
I mean, that's kind of like minor league baseball and major league baseball. I mean, I'll give you an example, which I thought was ridiculous. Do you remember when, I don't know if the Mets still do it. Do you remember when the Mets had their minor league affiliate in Vegas? Do you remember that or no?
I do, yes. Corey Oswald played for them, yes.
Do you remember how ridiculous, though, that trip was to go from Vegas to New York certain times and back and forth, back and forth? Say you're, the 27th man or the 28th man on the roster, and you have to keep going back and forth between Vegas and New York and making that trip. That's part of the issue they're probably facing here with all the traveling issues, going back and forth between a minor league affiliate and this is not really a professional league, or a affiliate. I don't know what you would call this, like a kind of like a secondary market affiliate, which could
and also the other important factor, Nick, is not every NHL club has a East Coast affiliate. They all have teams in my league, but 30 of the 32 don't have affiliates in this league. It's not required to have, though. You can send guys to wherever you want, though, but some teams have worked out deals where you have, both levels covered of the sport.
See, that's where I think the mistake is. I think, like, if you look at Major League Baseball and minor league baseball, everything is attached, whether it's single A, double A, triple A. even though they're in separate things, it's all attached to Major League Baseball in that way. So you know that you're part of the organization one way or the other. This East Coast Hockey League or where the Gulls play, what league is that?
AHL.
They're not directly attached all the time to the NHL.
A lot of them aren't. Now, in our case, we are directly tied to Anaheim. Just for those who are wondering, we have the same ownership, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And that's what's confusing. People don't understand that, where some are, like the Gulls are to the Ducks, but some are not. And so players are being sent all over the place. And it's like you said with the minor league baseball players who have to take buses left and right to get to places, and it's not fun. The trips are hours upon hours, and now they're playing like 6-7 game series so that they don't have to travel as much.
And Monday's their only off day,
which is ridiculous. Like
they play Tuesday through Sunday,
and they don't make the money that's required of some of these guys. And people are like, oh, well, they get paid to play a sport. Oh, stop. It's a job like anybody else works a job.
Well, and the fact they have to, as you said, work. I knew guys that were playing here who were like real estate agents by day, hockey player by night, or they were youth coaches in town by day, players by night. I knew a lot of those guys who were doing that sort of stuff. Yeah.
They'd be given hitting lessons. There was a story, I don't remember if it was last year or 2 years ago, where a player was working in Home Depot, I think. It was like a huge viral story. It was like a whole thing. And he had to take the job. He would play a game and then work Home Depot sometimes at night.
Crazy.
Come on, man, that's not right. It's not. Like, these, I don't know, these leagues are greedy, but we could say the same thing about the NHL, the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA. Like, these labor unions, or I should say the owners, because it's the labor unions are trying to protect the players, but these leagues, they only care about one thing, which we talk about all the damn freaking time. That's all they care about. They don't care if these players are being treated fairly or if they have health insurance or benefits. And I think one of the things I read also in the document, that due to them going on strike, they are automatically kicked out of their player housing also. So excuse me. So they had to evacuate the player housing premises when they went on strike. Think about that. And think about, and just to, not that I mean to do this, but to directly correlate it to what's going on in the W.
Housing became the number one talking point.
Well, they said, oh, we'll raise the salaries, but we're going to take away the player housing. So we're going to make you sacrifice. You want more in your salary. We're going to take away the benefits. One should not sacrifice the other.
All right, Nick, here's some of the more meat and potatoes of the money. As you already alluded to, though, there's a immediate 19.8%, 20% increase of a salary cap retroactive to however many days the strike goes, and a total increase of 27% over the life of the deal. Per diem pay has been bumped up to $60 per day, a 24.5% total increase, and also 100% coverage for furnished housing, utilities, and medical and dental care, and proposals for better equipment like custom sticks and better 5-star rated helmets. Nick, to pull a question out of here, though, for this one, I mean, there's 3 of them here we can pick from. But, Nick, if the ECHL is offering a near 20% cap increase with retroactive pay, why do you believe, though, the union is refusing to even put it to a membership vote, in your opinion? What do you think?
This is kind of the cat and mouse game you see across all the leagues, where
smoke and mirrors.
And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record because I'm going to say it a million times. Look at the smoke and mirrors we saw with the WNBA. Back and forth. We're still smoke and mirrors. You and I still don't think that those negotiations are going to get done January 9th. Now,
no way.
Now, this is not a CBA negotiation issue. They just went on strike in the middle of their CBA.
In the middle of the season, they were working with the expired contract from July.
Oh, so their contract is up too. Their CBA is up. Wait a minute, their CBA has been up since July.
Yeah.
Why are they playing? Oh wait, is this the play on goodwill because eventually we give back to the people who played through the tough negotiations? Is that what this is?
Pretty much.
I hate to say this, but like when I was working in radio and the show I was working on, the guy's contract was up for months, and he was working on goodwill. That's what they call it in media, where basically you continue to get paid your contract terms until they figure it out. Well, guess what? They never figured it out.
Of course not.
So that's what I'm saying. Now, this is different because this is a smaller market. I hate to say it, not saying it to be mean, but this is lower rent, lower money. This is not the NHL. The NHL already had their labor issues, which we thought when that situation was coming up, we didn't know if there was going to be a season for then, depending on the way that was going. But the NHL knew they couldn't afford not to have a season. They just couldn't. This, on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised if the East Coast Hockey League loses a bunch of time over this.
And I wouldn't be surprised, because I read an open letter that a fan had written who's a fan of the Hershey Bears and the Capitals, and their affiliate is the South Carolina Stingrays, who was the last team to have their game postponed today. Again, for those who are wondering here, again, this is Press Row. This is our once again, this is our Code Red edition again. We're talking about the ECHL and Professional Hockey Players Association strike that, again, took effect today. 13 games have been wiped off the schedule in the AA ranks of minor league hockey. Once again, my team is not affected by this with where the league is at. But again, Nick, more importantly, I think the next question, though, is that the league explicitly threatened that future offers will be lower to account for strike-related revenue losses. Do you believe this is a legitimate business reality, or, as the players have called it, bullying tactics done by the ECHL?
Well, you're talking about, and I have to find it again, that NHL agent or whatever that posted
Alan Walsh.
Alan Walsh, which I don't know how I found it. The misinformation, bullying, and intimidation from the ECHL is like deja vu all over again. Some advice for the ECHL: instead of wasting your time whining, lying, and threatening players, why don't you get back in the room and bargain in good faith? Gee, where have we heard that one before?
The W.
You see, here's the funny part about labor negotiations in sports. Have you noticed that a lot of them are all similar? The way they act and the way that the tactics that they use.
Yeah, all the tactics seem to be the same, that it's always the player's fault. It's never our fault. Blame them, not us. Hey, we're okay. And I thought, though, Nick, that the letter, though, that was written, I think it was by Richard Blosser on puckprossy.com. He had a great, they had a great line, though, Nick, in their story. They, in a way, compared the strike. Now, again, this is obviously separate, entities. Look at the damage that was done, though, when baseball went on strike in '94, for example. And and at the very end, he literally wrote, "Go ask the fans in Montreal how the Expos are doing."
Well, it's funny you bring this up too, because we have a benchmarks episode coming up on the creation
the '94 season. Yes.
Well, but I'm saying the creation of free agency.
Yes.
And how that changed sports forever. You wonder how those $300 million contracts come out in Major League Baseball, or how these large contracts in the NBA are coming out. If it wasn't for Curt Flood making a bold statement, basically costing himself his career, then would there be free agency in all these millions of dollars across all these different leagues? No, there wouldn't.
Absolutely not.
There wouldn't be, or would there be these giant TV contracts if it wasn't for Curt Flood saying, I'm going to put my foot in the sand and say, well, I'm not property to you, as that's a little teaser to the episode of what you said in it. But basically, these players are not property. They have the right to say, I want this and I want that, and someone eventually will pay me to be that. And that's kind of what this situation is, where the East Coast Hockey League players and the PHPA, the Players Association, is basically saying, look, give us our benefits, give us a higher salary, or else we're going to walk out. And that's what they did.
And that's what they did. And real quick, I'm just looking for looking at something real quick.
Can I read? can I read one more thing from Alan Walsh, though? Because I think it's interesting, too.
Yes, please do.
That he quote tweeted the ECHL statement, which I want to read also, which I probably should read that first before I read the quote tweet from Alan Walsh.
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the statement from the ECHL. Unfortunately, union leaders deprived players of the opportunity to vote on our last, best, and final offer, an offer that would dramatically raise players' salaries by 20% in the first year, boost their per diem, which you mentioned, which was $60, which is really nothing if you think about it. Guarantee more off days, expand the top-of-the-line equipment available to players. Now, weren't you telling me that the helmets were an issue in the league also?
Helmets have been an issue, sticks have been an issue, and players have allegedly said they've gotten used gear from former players of the league.
That's bad. Come on.
Hand-me-down gear in 2025. Who the heck had that on their bingo card?
But wait, here's another statement that a lot of owners and labor use, which I find insane. We did everything possible to avoid the outcome and hope that the union leadership will drop its unworkable scheduling demands. Let the players vote on our offer and make it possible for players to return to work. How about maybe your offer sucks?
So, Nick, that's actually a good segue to the player side of this thing. Now, again, PHPA Executive Director Brian Ramsey and the players have told a different story. They cite both unfair labor practices, regressive bargaining, and, as we said, bully tactics. Players report using or being supplied with used equipment and ill-fitting helmets, despite the league having a deal with Warrior, one of the top hockey brands out there. Safety concerns remain the top priority. The bus league reality has only gotten worse, as the Players Association has claimed that the ECHL qualifies or counts the bus trips home, sometimes 9 hours or longer, as the team's day off, and also allegations that the league has bypassed the union to intimidate and bully players via direct emails from team upper management. Nick, more importantly here for this one, the bylaws, though, prevent teams within 100 miles of each other, creating scheduling challenges. Is the league's overall geographic expansion actually hurting the players' physical health in your mind, especially as well, though, Nick? They play this like baseball, 3 games a week against the same team, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, usually.
I mean, again, not to sound broken record, but I'm going to use a different example. What's another sport we talk about on Press Row all the time that's dealing with massive expansion of travel issues, and it's causing a problem?
The NFL?
No, college football.
Yeah, that is true.
Think about they keep wanting to expand. Let's take Rutgers and travel to USC. Let's take a school from the East Coast and travel all the way to, I don't know, Colorado. Like, we're taking teams and we're traveling across the coast, all because they want to hit the cash rather than protecting these athletes or protecting these professional athletes who, again, the lines are blurred because of NIL. But at the same time, everything is being treated as professional now. So
Nick, do you want me to read off the division alignment for where my affiliate in Tulsa is located in the distance they have to travel?
Yeah, I'm curious to know, actually.
All right. The Mountain Division of the Mountain Division of the Western Conference for the ECHL goes as follows by city. Allen, Texas.
Okay.
Boise, Idaho.
What?
Suburban Kansas City, Missouri. Independence, Kansas City, or Missouri. Rapid City, South Dakota.
Okay, I know where this is going. This is literally, it's all over the map. Yes.
Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
So we're literally spread out all over the country, is literally what you're telling me.
West Valley City, Utah. Wichita, Kansas.
This makes no sense. It's not. See, the one thing that Major League Baseball does right currently is think about it. The AL East, the NL East. Like, they keep everybody for the most part, except for Rob Manfred's kooky idea of trying to combine the Yankees, the Mets, and the Phillies, and who was the other team? The Red Sox, into one, which I don't think they should do.
Padres, Angels, Dodgers, Diamondbacks? No, thank you.
But that's the one thing they did get right, is having the AL East. And if you notice, the only time they travel really out is like for interleague games, which is,
of course,
those are games you want to see, at least. But because people are going to want to see Yankee Dodgers if it were there, but or I don't know, or Mets or Yankees Mets in that regard, or in your sake, Angels Padres. But
Yeah.
but those are warranted travel, at least. There's no warranted travel. Like, it's all over the place, and that's why the players are complaining about the amount of travel and not making enough money to accept all this travel.
Nick, in a league, though, 2 levels below the National Hockey League, how is it possible, though, that players are getting used equipment or hand-me-down gear, and how is that even a talking point now in 2025? I mean, Warrior is one of the, in perspective, Warrior's one of the biggest brands out there in the hockey scope. I'm more of a Bauer equipment guy, but you've got Bauer, CCM, True, and Warrior's like the main 4 suppliers. I mean, if that claim, though, is true, Nick, that really, I think, opens up a major can of worms so that guys are playing with used gear from former players of the league. Gross.
Well, here's another issue that we're not talking about, which is, do they have a sponsor?
Warriors the official equipment provider for every team in the entire ECHL.
So why are they getting used equipment then?
Yeah, that's when I heard that, I'm like, how is this possible?
Something's not adding up. If they're getting old equipment, you're saying Warrior is a main sponsor of the league for their equipment. I don't know. Does the NHL have a sponsor for its equipment?
Guys, players are allowed to use whoever they want, as long as so they can use whatever brand they want. But in my league and in the East Coast League, we have sponsors. So all of teams in my league are with CCM, for example, and all the teams in the East Coast League are with Warrior. And I will say this too: if a player from the NHL comes down to rehab in San Diego, for example, and they don't have CCM gear, they actually have to be marked on the roster sheet that they're a supplier exemption from the CCM gear because they're coming down from the NHL.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It shouldn't matter what equipment you are. But think about the other leagues. Like in Major League Baseball, you get whatever deal you are, whether that's Reebok or Nike or whatever equipment you're wearing, or forget it. Can you imagine if the NBA didn't allow certain sponsor deals for these players, whether it was Nike, Reebok, Jordan, or Adidas? Like, the league would go on a full riot. The NBA would go on a full riot if they weren't allowed to pick their own gear, except for the jerseys, because I think the jerseys are an NBA thing,
and they're all Nike. Yeah,
but I mean, it's funny that I'm thinking jerseys, because do you remember what happened with Major League Baseball when the jerseys had that issue where they were becoming see-through?
Oh yeah, the small letters, the pants were awful.
Fanatics.
Yeah.
I think that was the Fanatics controversy, right? And the names were spelt wrong. They were like all the way through the armpits, even though the names were not that long.
The pants were see-through.
That was creepy. Like, first of all, I don't know how pants become see-through like that.
No, thank you.
I think they said it was the sweat or whatever was causing it. But my point is, if they have a sponsor, then they need to go back and I would say the PHPA needs to go look at that contract for the sponsor of the Warrior and say, are we violating terms by not providing the equipment necessary for these players? The other thing I wanted to say also, just to, so Liz Schuler, who's, I want to make sure I read this. She's the president of the AFL-CIO. Like for, I want to make sure I get this right. So it's one of the biggest unions in the U.S., and it represents about 15 million people.
Okay.
So she quote tweeted the PHPA statement from December 22nd about the East Coast Hockey League membership services strike notice that had come out.
Yes.
And she said the AFL CIO's 15 million members are standing with the PHPA players as they press for a fair contract that reflects their talent and guarantees dignity, respect, and safety on the job. That's a huge union, like 15 million.
Let's also, Nick, not forget the NHLPA has put out a statement in support of this too.
Yes, we did have that. And then also Alan Walsh, just to go back to that for a second, who quote tweeted the ECHL statement about how the players are refusing and all this stuff. Alan Walsh quote tweeted and said, "It's like Gary Bettman became the commissioner of the ECHL."
Oh my goodness. Now, Nick, I wanted to go back real quick. Again, folks, welcome in. We're almost done here for the afternoon. We're going to the bottom of the hour here on ETB. This is, again, a coded edition of Press Row as we cover the ECHL, 2 levels below the NHL, on strike, effective today with all 13 games across the country, all off the board for today. Again, Nick, as I was mentioning, though, that this literally took until probably the last, I'd say, to go back into the Slack chat just to kind of see when the news broke of the final game being postponed, which was Savannah in South Carolina. That came out, Nick, at about 8 minutes to noon on the West Coast, so near 3 p.m. Eastern, that the final game between the Ghost Parts of Savannah and the South Carolina Stingrays both got postponed. Again, other teams had already put out statements, hey, the game's going to be postponed. I have, though, just checked the Tulsa Oilers website again. The Tulsa Oilers are the affiliate of the Gulls and the Ducks. They still have their game tomorrow in Wichita, still on the schedule to begin play at 6:05 Central, 4:05 Pacific time from the Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas. Again, their game was postponed today. Nick, going back to Twitter, though, real quick, from Inside AHL hockey writer Tony Androkidis, he wrote 4 hours ago, so far, the Atlanta Gladiators postponed versus the Greenville Swamp Rabbits and the Trios Riveras, or Three Rivers Growlers. I think I forget the name.
I see their statement. I'm looking at it here.
Postponed versus the Adirondack Thunder. Both or all those teams, or so far the Gladiators and Three Rivers, have announced their plans to field the team for their following games, I would assume, Nick, on Saturday. So that's at least promising that maybe that some guys will play. We'll see. But also, Nick, I have pulled up, though, a statement that I saw floating around the web last night, early this morning. This, Nick, actually comes from a player in the E. This is courtesy of Josh Wilkins's IG account. He is currently playing for the South Carolina Stingrays within the Washington Capitals organization. So he wrote this statement that I found on Reddit, and it reads in part the following. After spending the last 4 years with the South Carolina Stingrays, I can honestly say the organization has treated its players with professionalism, class, and respect. From my understanding, the league recently presented a solid proposal that was denied by the PHPA without first asking the players or holding a vote to determine whether we felt the offer was fair. We are now being encouraged to strike, to not report to play, and to publicly criticize our organizations and teams, even if we personally want to play the game. That puts many of us in an extremely difficult and unfair position. The PHPA has also issued multiple public statements using our names without our review, consent, or approval, having words and positions attributed to us that we have not personally agreed to is flat out unacceptable. We signed an agreement to play this season under the existing contract until a new deal could be reached. We did not sign an agreement to strike, to shut down the season, or to forfeit our pay. Many of us are simply wanting the chance to play, to honor our contracts, support our organizations, and continue our careers while negotiations are handled properly and transparently. Then he tags the franchise, the league, and the PHPA. Your thoughts?
This sounds like a game of chicken. That's literally what this sounds like right now. But here's a issue now that I didn't even realize. Now that I hear that, now it sounds like the players and the PHPA are striking against one another at the same time.
They're pretty much bopping each other on the head with picket signs.
And I'm like, wait a minute. This whole time I thought this was like the players were 1,000,000% behind the PHPA, but now we're finding out that the players were not even called or asked for permission to make a statement. Like, I'm like, the only thing I could think of is like, did I walk into a Curb episode? Like, what? Like, so now we're finding out that the players don't even agree with the PHPA. Is that what you're
at least some of the players don't agree with the sentiment, is what we're kind of getting at. And furthermore, Nick, real quick, I think the main other elephant in the room, though, Nick, is that grind of the travel again. The league again has claimed the 9-hour bus trip home from your away game, like in Kansas, in Wichita for the upcoming game for the Oilers, for example. That's your day off, is traveling 9 hours home from Wichita back to Tulsa?
That's effed up. And the same thing, and I'm not just saying this for this. I'm saying this for minor league baseball. I'm saying this for the G League. I'm saying this for anything. You're telling me that these greedy ass professional league owners can't afford something something for these guys, so they don't have to go on 8 to 9 hour bus rides? Like, it's bad enough that they're being paid peanuts, but you can't give them transportation.
So, Nick, I'm also trying to skim through the roster for the Tulsa Oilers. Again, the Oilers are our affiliate in the East Coast League in San Diego, in for the Anaheim Ducks. Because Tony Androkidis, again, this guy has been phenomenal covering the story. This story also broke 2 hours ago, Nick, that the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins, which is the AHL club for Pittsburgh, today they called up all 10 of the remaining players that had AHL contracts from the East Coast affiliate in Wheeling, West Virginia today. I would not be surprised, Nick, if more teams do this, though, in the coming hours, let alone days.
So, do you know Melissa Burgess or no?
I do, yes. Her husband is a PA announcer in upstate New York.
Okay, she just tweeted out a minute ago, the Mercs have recalled Matteo Constantini and Redmond Savage from the ECHL's Jacksonville Icemen.
So the Mercs, by the way, are the Rochester Americans who feed the Buffalo Sabres.
So apparently some moves are being made.
They're beginning to trickle out now.
So that seems like part of what is happening. But a lot of people are tagging the ECHL and going after them on Twitter right now, currently.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's kind of been that way, Nick. And ever since I began to scour Twitter again, folks, you can follow us on Twitter again. We're now at Press Row ETB for our account. Ever since I began going down the rabbit hole today, it's been just flooded now with ECHL content. For those who, again, wondering, more teams are putting out statements. The Reading Royals, who are tied to the Philadelphia Flyers, I believe, put out their statement again, the same copy pasta, Nick, that we've been talking about, where every team has shared the same sentiments, or the same statement, I should say, just changing wording about, hey, our game versus so-and-so has been postponed, with, again, the very lengthy statement from the league and from the PHPA. So the Reading Royals have now put out their statement within the last 45 minutes.
See, I don't like this. Now I'm seeing on social media that, like, some fans, like, were responding back to the ECHL over the dumb statements they were making, and they're blocking fans.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what that is, Nick?
Petty?
It's petty, but it's also Oaklamento Athletics behavior for how they turned off their social media comments for like the last 5 years because they didn't like how the fans were, barking at them.
I'll go a step further. That's them admitting the fans are right. If they're blocking the fans for them being upset, that means that they're admitting defeat by blocking them.
Nick, I just came across a tweet from this morning from Andrew Zadoronsky.
Okay.
December 26th is typically a big revenue day for ECHL teams. The timing of the strike by the PHPA was obviously designed to inflict financial harm to all the franchises. Oof.
I don't know that unless he's got proof of that, you can't really say it. You need like actual paperwork, financial proof to prove if it's damaging all the franchises purposely. But I don't know. I mean,
so here's another interesting update from the Iowa Heartlanders, who tweeted at 11 a.m. Pacific time today. They were supposed to have a game, a theme game involving Bluey the dog from Disney Channel today.
Wait, Bluey? That's Disney? Oh, yeah.
I think it is, yeah. Either way, they were supposed to have a big event today for Bluey.
Oh, like a character day. Oh, yeah.
And the team actually put in their statement, for people who had already had tickets for tonight's game, the Heartlanders will host the Bluey meet and greet still at the arena from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Time. Doors will open at 6 p.m., and ticket sales are no longer available. The only way to see Bluey this regular season is to come tonight. The rescheduled game will not include an appearance from Bluey. Limited concessions will be open, including beer sales, free face painting, locker room tours, and fans will have the chance to come down to the ice to shoot the puck during the course of the evening, with the team store also being open for post-Christmas shopping. Good on them, by the way, for making that men's.
Yes, but at the same time, you're right. That's great on them. But is that a little petty too that they're talking about like selling stuff in the middle of a
strike.
a strike? A little petty.
Yeah, I think so.
I get it. I know why they're doing it because they're trying to open everything up to fans. But at the same time, why are you allowed to sell stuff when you?
So now we have information, Nick, leaking out about tomorrow's games in the ECHL.
There's no way they can play these games.
The Florida Everblades, yes, that is their name, the Everblades. They have announced that their regular season game tomorrow, 12:27 versus the Reading Royals, has been postponed.
Yeah, I could. Duh. Can I get a yes for 500, Alex?
Well, however, they didn't use the statement though in their release about the game being postponed. Fans are encouraged to stay tuned to our website and social media channels for updates regarding the future home games, including games scheduled for Sunday and Monday, also against Reading.
Wait, what? So they're postponing more games?
They said to stay tuned to social platforms regarding future home games for the upcoming weekend.
That's a nice way of saying that they're not playing until further notice.
They were the only team who so far, Nick, did not copy and paste the statement about why the games have been postponed.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying we're postponed until further notice. We'll let you know if we actually come to an agreement, which I don't see that happening anytime soon. So there's going to be a lot of home games across.
And the Utah Grizzlies have done the same thing. They basically have done what other teams have done and just basically copy and paste the same statement about their game being postponed.
By the way, Twitter's getting nasty right now, like against the ECHL.
And also, too, by the way, Keegan Jarvis, who is a writer or a correspondent for the Rangers in Blue Shirt Banter, within the hour said that ECHL players went on strike earlier today, with 2 players now from Bloomington, Iowa, being sent to the Hartford Wolfpack today. Hartford is also has defenseman Casey McCarthy loaned to the ECHL in Worcester, Massachusetts, and goaltenders Callum Tung and Hugo Olas under New York Ranger contract while in Bloomington. I think, Nick, at this rate, the way out is going to be we're going to probably see more teams call up their ECHL guys who have AHL deals with Hartford, San Diego, you name it at this rate.
Yeah,
But what else are you hearing though from the fans' perspective though with the ECHL on social?
It's getting ugly. Like the people saying "F you" to the ECHL right now. Like, go F yourself. That's a lot of the tweets right now that are going out. I mean, do you blame them though? I mean, the players had to go on strike to get their point to be heard.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nick, not at all. And real quick, one more thing before we go back to some more social media here. We might go beyond the bottom of the hour here. We'll see. But Nick, there is though one thing though, and this is kind of in a way like our balancing act here of, hey, WNB is in the same spot now that like the ECHL. Nick, there's 2 new teams joining the league next year in New Mexico and Georgia.
Oh, so we're pulling a W where we're going to expand our league, but we really don't have a league right now because we're in CBA negotiations.
Does a potential prolonged strike, though, kill the momentum of Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and even Augusta, Georgia? Absolutely, it does.
They got to get a deal. That's all I can really say at this point. They got to get the labor stuff under control. Now, how do they do that? I don't know. I'm not a labor negotiator. Being a lawyer in that room is tough.
So another update came within the last half an hour from the Wheeling Nailers, the affiliate of the Penguins. They also, Nick, did not use the statement. They literally just put out tonight's game between the Nailers and Walleye at Huntington Center has been postponed. We'll be in direct communication with our fans about any home games that will be postponed or rescheduled at a later time and date. For more information, but though, Nick, every team that was given the link though to read the statement from the league though. For more information, please visit echl.com/CBA.
Yeah, I don't know. Is this player greed? Is this league greed? There's like 3 separate things going on here. The owners probably don't want to pay. The players are fed up with all the travel, and then the PHPA is going after its own players. Like, I don't know what to believe anymore. Like, I feel like I'm in a tornado spinning around.
So far, Nick, the only team that's put a player statement out has been the Allen Americans of the ECHL. They wrote in part, and this has been the only thing that the Americans, I think, have shared today. They read, it reads in part, "Dear fans, we want to be clear and transparent with you. In solidarity with our fellow competitors and union members, we will be partaking in the strike beginning today until further notice. This action is not directed towards the Allen Americans organization. We are extremely grateful to play for a first-class organization in front of such passionate and dedicated fans. Miles and Johnny, I should say, the owners, have created an environment that players are proud to be a part of and one where players truly want to play. Our decision is solely about standing together with our union to support the future of our players. Our hope is that the PHPA and the ECHL can come to an agreement so we can get back to playing in front of the best fans in the league. We sincerely appreciate your understanding and continued support, and we look forward to returning to the ice as soon as possible. Sincerely, your Allen American players." Open and close quote. End of the statement.
I mean, I'm looking at the Kansas City Mavericks statements also. I mean, they highlight all tickets for postponed games will remain valid, and fans can be assured that refunds will be issued if a game cannot be rescheduled. No action is required from ticket holders at this time. Well, duh. There's no game. There's no action they can take. What action can they take? They can go on social media and yell about it, but is that really going to solve anything? No.
So James Krause, who is a writer for the Journal Gazette in Fort Wayne, Indiana, put a 3-part statement out within the last couple of minutes, or actually the last few hours, I should say, which again is just basically the same statement that we've been hearing for the most part. Furthermore, let's see. Speaking of roster moves, the Iowa Wild with the Minnesota Wild, go figure. They did, though, Nick, have to sign a player to a AHL contract to bring him up today from their affiliate in the ECHL.
Well, yeah, they're going to bring players up. That's not a surprise.
Well, this is different, though, than just a call-up, though, because his contract was with the East Coast affiliate. They had to basically buy the contract and bring him up to the AHL.
Well, yeah, we hear that in Major League Baseball all the time. Remember they say, "Oh, we're going to purchase the contract of such and such and bring them up to the majors," because the contracts are different between minor leagues and professional organizations when they make it to the professional league. So, I don't know. This is going to take a while for them.
Yeah, and we hope, though, that as the strike does linger, we hope to get a few people within ECHL circles, not my league again with the AHL, the ECHL circles, to hopefully come and be a part of the program and help us out here with some more understanding about what, of course, has transpired. Furthermore, trying to just see what else is broken here. Speaking to Melissa Burgess, she also said, Nick, 3 hours ago too, that other teams have already recalled players like Parker Gahagan was called up to Bridgeport for the Islanders. Justin Janicki called up to Coachella Valley, and Harrison Israels to Rockford. Jackson Edward was also returned back to Providence, and Connor Smith was reassigned by the Ducks back to San Diego effective today as well. So, and also more importantly as well, though, Nick, if you were to look at ECHL tickets right now, they've all been pulled off the shelf.
Well, what choice do they have? They don't want they don't want fans buying tickets and then not getting their money's worth value wise. I mean,
by the way, the Kansas City Mavericks, who were supposed to be the Oiler opponent tonight.
That's the statement I read. Yeah,
that one. Okay, so that's one that we already read. Yeah, I mean, not just that, Nick. A lot of the teams now are getting body bagged too by their fan bases. I mean, can you really blame them though?
Well, I said they're saying "F you" to the league. I'm like, do you blame them? Like, they want to see their teams play. Some of these areas, we talk about this all the time. That's all the sports they have. They don't have anything else.
So also, Nick, not just the American Hockey League is getting players back. Teams playing in developmental leagues like the SPHL are getting players back too. Just saw a tweet from the Quad City Storm, who wrote that defenseman Dmitry Toporowski is back from his loan with the Oilers and will be playing tonight for them in Quad City, Iowa. So already here we are, Nick, with guys who have been, who right now they're kind of like wondering what the heck's going to happen. And now some guy's going to be able to play a game tonight, despite the league going underneath right now with the ongoing strike.
This is going to hit rock bottom before it gets any better. It's going to get worse and worse and worse to the point where these players are going to be suffering, not even making any money, even though they were making peanuts to begin with. And when they realize that they're not making any money, that's when things become desperate. Seriously.
Yeah, just looking around for what else we have here. Again, just once more, again, a lot of teams, though, folks, have just been sharing this, have just, again, shared the statement that, again, was put out by the ECHL. More than anything else than that, there's not a whole lot we really can go on here other than just kind of covering where things stand. And again, Nick, I was also trying to look at the roster for the Tulsa Oilers and trying to see who might, in fact, get called up from there to come to San Diego and just kind of take a roster spot. Let's see. There's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. As I click on one of the players' info, 6. One of them got called today. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably as many, Nick. San Diego and between Tulsa and San Diego, Nick, there could be 10 guys, much like the Wheeling, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton ordeal, that those guys may, in fact, come up, though, and be a part of, I'd say, a taxi squad, maybe.
Like they do in baseball.
I want to know, though, Nick, more importantly, how is this now going to work, though, for AHL clubs who, in fact, make these roster moves, though?
They're going to have to work around the AHL.
They're going to have to. I mean, the roster is going to become very bloated when I go back to work on Sunday at this rate.
Well, yeah, because all the players are going to get sent to the AHL because they need playing time. But how many freaking players can you send to an AHL roster if there's only so many spots?
So, Nick, I have a lengthy statement here from Brandon Lowe.
I saw that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, so Brandon Lowe wrote a very lengthy post here. We're kind of against the clock here.
Do it. It's okay.
And I mean, he kind of doesn't really, Nick, hold punches here, it looks like. But he wrote in part, I entered the ECHL in 2016. The EC seemed like it stood for Entertaining Circus rather than East Coast. Oh, this is juicy. One of my first memories was a 14-hour straight shot road trip from Rapid City, South Dakota to Boise, Idaho. Through the mountain pass, our bus driver's frozen piss was glued to the side of our 18-wheeler transport truck, or the bus, from the catheter he attached himself to shave off travel time. Oh. That league is in the rear view. 427 regular season games later, I'm a walking example of what the minors can do to your body. In the last 16 months, I have torn 2 hip labrums, 2 shoulder labrums, my growing, and an MCL due to the grueling travel in the league's 72-game season demand. It should be noted, nobody held a gun to my head and forced me to play the game. I fully understood the risk of the game and did it for my teammates and the chance to move an organization forward. In one corner, new PHP director Brian Ramsey is banging the table to make a difference for the players. He's sharp, direct, and strategic, and the PA is in good hands under his leadership. The first problem lies within previous years of weak negotiating and direction. When I entered the league, the rookie minimum salary was $445 a week.
That's it?
Today, it is $530, an $85 increase since 2016.
It's not enough.
There is a significant salary gap that needs to be made up to the players. In the other corner is League Commissioner Ryan Creelin, who has grown the league in return, grown the game of hockey. That is not arguable. The shockwave of having a union director that cares mixed with teams that don't know how to turn a profit from their business is where another problem does lie. Hockey, the ECHL, and some of the teams have a marketing and retention problem. Their inability to make additional revenue and feel comfortable finally spending on players' salaries has made them put away their wallets and brought the negotiations to a standstill. Player likenesses is something the ECHL has not ever figured out. Players need to be compensated, but also given a platform through the teams and the league to be successful. Higher compensation equals less players leaving equals higher NIL returns. To fill this gap in the meantime, where is the NHL? Where is Commissioner Bettman? It's an NHL-affiliated league with legitimate prospects. Do they actually care?
No.
With over 750-plus ECHLers playing games in the NHL, that's a feeder system. Where is the support? Change for the players is long overdue. The compensation being requested is far from astronomical. If you don't have an extra $150,000 in your bank account as owner, then you shouldn't own a pro hockey team. For players, unity is how you win. If you want a home business and get your mortgage paid for by the team, congratulations, you escaped ECHL reality. As a leader, it's your job to look to the left and right in your locker room and fight for the guys that make $530 a week. From the front office to the fans, media to management, this is about the players not knowing when the next paycheck will come. Is as stressful as it gets. Hoping for resolution. Signed, Brandon Lowe.
So, yeah, really.
Brandon Lowe, I should say. My apologies, but bravo. That was incredible.
So I looked this up. So ECHL player salaries are modest with a 2024-25 salary cap around $14,600 weekly, leading to averages near $730 a week or $20,000 a season, plus housing and per diem, but actual pay varies with rookies earning minimum $530 a week and veterans earning more, while players with NHL and AHL contracts earn significantly less against the cap. So I don't know what that really says, but $530 a week? You can't live on that.
To play the game you love.
I don't know, man. But this is not strictly a players' union versus the owners. There's ego left and right all over this, and until they separate their differences and figure out how to play nice in the sandbox, as they say, it's never going to get fixed.
No.
So I don't know. I don't think you're going to see hockey in the ECHL for a while.
Josh Ian, who works for WANE 15 television, I'm guessing in Indianapolis or Fort Wayne, writes, one small interesting nugget from the comments in their release. If two scheduled teams can roster enough players during the work stoppage, the game will happen as scheduled. That still makes no sense.
Basically, what they're saying is if we stop the play, maybe that'll threaten the players enough because they're not being paid to get back into labor negotiating tactics sooner. At least that's how I read it.
Oh man, one hockey account wrote, "Way to go! This is the shittiest possible way to phrase this. Did the ECHL tell you to say it this way?" Responding to the Adirondack Thunder, who literally, Nick, wrote in their release, the PHPA, or the Pro Hockey Players Association, has forced the players to go on strike effective at noon today. Due to this, tonight's game against the Trios Riveres will be postponed. All tickets for tonight's game will be transferred to a makeup date to be determined. For individual questions, please contact us at 518-480-3355, extension number 319. Did you really have to add the whole fact that it was effective at noon today?
No, because no one knew exactly when it was going to happen.
Pretty sleazy, if you ask me.
Remember what we said about lockouts, that both sides are going to do every petty thing in the book to make each other look bad.
Ah, interesting, Nick. So Elaine Shercliffe, who covers the Grand Rapids Griffins in the AHL and who's tied to the Red Wings, she wrote within the last 4 hours, as a reminder, the PHPA's ECHL players went on strike today. AHL teams have been informed by the AHL that they are permitted but not obligated to recall their ECHL players to the AHL. It is essentially now a team-by-team decision.
Oh man.
So it's essentially a team-by-team basis about what they want to do, per Elaine Shercliffe of who covers the Grand Rapids Griffins in the AHL.
Yeah, so they got to decide: are they going to stand in solidarity or are they not?
Well, man, we will see.
I'd be more concerned for you if the HL got behind the ECHL and they started striking on top of that. I'd be more concerned about that.
Nick, we have one more player who just shared his thoughts. Kashawn Gervis, who plays for the Adirondack Thunder, wrote within the last 20 minutes on his Facebook page. He says in part, first off, this is, and then this is my, and then my is in all caps. First off, this is my personal opinion, and I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm all for standing together in solidarity as players and getting what we deserve. But I also believe that what was lately offered is fair and what we deserve. We play in the ECHL, not the NHL. It's the third highest level of pro hockey in North America, not the first. It's supposed to be a grind and supposed to be a gritty league. It's a league where guys come in to prepare and get better, so we develop in hopes to make it to the next level. I am grateful to even play in the be playing in the ECHL. I've gotten to see 30 plus states, play with hundreds of players, and gotten opportunities I've dreamt of since I was a kid. Glen Falls, New York, has been a second home in the Thunder organization, and fans have been family. I'm all for standing up for what I believe in, and I've always done that. I respect both sides, but from what I initially heard we were asking to what we now have been offered seems extremely fair, especially for a pro athlete. At the end of the day, I just want to play the game.
Right, but you got to be paid fair value for what you do on the field. And remember that too.
So there's that. There is also another player statement that was put out by the Toledo Walleye that was written on Christmas Eve. That again is kind of followed the same sort of scope, though. In part of the statement from the players from Toledo, we want to explain why this is happening and we believe it's important that you understand how we got here. That the associate's been working to try to get a deal done, and they're all trying to get back as closely as they can. I don't know, Nick. Like this will get much like the WNBA, Nick. This will get worse before it gets better anytime soon.
It's going to hit rock bottom. Once it hits rock bottom, they'll kill each other in the negotiating room to the point where they're not going to agree. And then like the W, they'll go cool off and they'll probably take a break for 2 or 3 weeks like the W did. And then eventually they'll come back to the table and say, okay, we both were morons during the negotiation. Let's get something done so we can move on from this.
Yeah, by the way, Nick, the Adirondack Thunder have just been getting pile-driven by hockey fans about how they put out that statement about, the PHPA forced the players to go on strike effective at noon today.
Though, so it's not fair for the fans just to go after them. A bunch of teams did it. So just to blame them is not right.
I mean, they're the only one I've seen on Twitter who's just been getting absolutely pile-driven so far over the course of the last couple of minutes here during the course of the show. Again, folks, we're just trying to, see if we have any more developing information. Again, we can confirm again, folks, that the ECHL, again, officially went on strike today at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. All 13 games across the league have been postponed. We're waiting for a domino effect. The Florida Everblades already put out that they would not be playing on Saturday, probably not playing on Sunday or Monday either, versus the Reading Royals of Reading, Pennsylvania. And just trying to see if there's anything else really has broken. By the way, Nick, as well, Andrew Zadoronsky had a follow-up, though, to the earlier statement that we read, though, concerning Josh Wilkins, who, again, made the first statement we read. Again, he plays for the South Carolina Stingrays at this point in time. Andrew wrote in part, quote tweeting it, "This is a significant breaking of the ranks by the Stingray players," where I'm guessing that Wilkins has basically, in a way, said, "I'm not going to follow the lead of the organization and go on my own path," basically. And then Andrew had a couple of replies. It looks like to this story or this statement that was put out. and not much really came out of it as I thought it would be. So Andrew had replied back to a fan of the Lions up in Quebec. Andrew wrote back yesterday, "No, the Lions say that they love their owners, but they are striking for the rights of all the ECHL players. A lot of players released statements of the sort. The Stingray players, are openly challenging the PHPA, which we have not really, Nick, I think, seen anybody do yet at this rate."
Well, that's what I was saying. That why are the players striking against their own players association? That's not adding up to me. The W negotiations were not doing that.
No, they were not.
No, they were doing other stupid things, but not.
Oh yeah,
fighting against
things,
not fighting against their own players association. That's death waiting to happen.
Yeah. So basically, I think that's going to be the end of the line for us here, Nick. Here on Code Red, again, as we said, folks, once more, the East Coast Hockey League, the ECHL, the AA affiliate for 30 of the 32 AHL and NHL franchises. Once more, per the Adirondack Thunder, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, went on strike today, clamoring and hoping for a better deal for the players. We talked a lot, though, Nick, about the struggles, though, when it came, though, to the travel, the equipment issues, the salary issues, the pay, and the last-ditch effort was put up by the league and by the league on Christmas Day, and apparently, Nick, they've gone nowhere. And I'm sure we'll be keeping an eye on this, though, and we'll hopefully, Nick, try to get some ECHL and hockey writers on probably the next time we have some major news that breaks with the story.
Yeah, quick programming note, obviously, as well. Press Row Year in Review, December 29th. That's not a typo. It's a 4-hour show.
Yes.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We're doing drive time radio on live stream. Literally. I don't remember the last time we did a 4-hour show, if we've ever done a 4-hour show.
No, we've gone from 1 to 3, but not 4.
Well, no, we've done a 3-hour show at Press Row. We've never done a 4-hour show.
No, we have not. So yeah.
So this is going to be our end of year show. Tune in. We're putting together some of our best moments in the sports media and business landscape. We will give you 3 out of the 4 hours will be news. We've got a lot of news already in the pipeline that we are going to talk about on Monday. Maybe we'll have some more news on this front with the ECHL. So make sure you join us on Monday. We have some guests. I did get a confirmation from one today for the beginning of the year. Bart Winkler will join us probably on our first show back.
January 9th, or January 7th, I mean.
January 7th.
The 7th. The 9th is when the other league goes on strike.
So we're going to get into the ISN debacle a little bit more on January 7th. In case people are wondering, Westwood One Sports, which is taking over for Infinity Sports Network, starts on December 29th. Not the beginning of the new year, like when a new network or something starts. December 29th. So if you were hoping it was going to last the rest of the year to say goodbye to it, yeah, it's not. Monday starts the new Westwood One Sports. But yeah, this was different for me today. Talking a little bit a
little puck, baby. Welcome to my world. About time.
I don't mind it. See, that's the difference between me and other people. Like, I don't mind like talking different things and really getting into it. Wasn't expecting to come in on a Friday knowing we have a show Monday, but
let alone the fact coming in on a day after the holiday too.
Oh, I've been working through the holidays. That's nothing new. But
no, I did a bit of work on Christmas evening after everyone was asleep.
Yeah, that's what I did. Also, don't worry, you'll all be happy. Benchmarks episodes are ready all the way through
April.
I think I gave you another one last night.
That'll be late April too. So there we go.
January 4th, midnight Eastern. Check it out. First episode. Magic.
We'll have a little teaser episode drop on Sunday night though too.
Oh yeah, that's right. you'll get that first. That'll open your podcast feed so you can find everything. And then January 4th, episode 1, Magic Johnson and the HIV story will be episode 1. You'll be leading that one off. And then I do some NBA stuff and some what else have I done so far?
You got a lot of good stuff.
That's the one that stands out to me because that was the whole Daryl Morey situation. Where's that drop? Because that's kind of where that
Morey is a liar.
That's kind of where that drop came from. So, but yeah, make sure you follow us across social media. Where are we here? Follow Press Row at Press Row ETB, which we are live streaming to and have been live streaming to now.
Yeah.
So check us out on there. We're going to try to make an effort in the new year to do some short videos also to kind of break some news, because sometimes you can't always go live when something breaks. So at least we'll get you some news. If something big breaks, like a strike, like I'll tell you right now, because the W is just delaying the inevitable. So
quit moving the goalposts already.
No pun intended. When that breaks, you're gonna get a 4 or 5 hour show, probably out of us.
Yes.
When that breaks, hopefully it doesn't break like on some random weekend. Please.
Let's hope, please.
So actually, we thought when we were doing the show, we thought it was gonna be a Sunday. We were there, ready to go.
Oh, we're gonna back it up by 30 more days.
We'll keep moving those goalposts back.
Anyway, let's get out of here. You want to go take a nap? I can tell. I want to go get lunch. Or brunch.
I'm gonna go eat. Actually,
we're both gonna go eat.
But hopefully everyone had a good Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you Festivus. If you celebrate all that stuff,
I love it.
And then we are how many days? 5 days away from New Year's Eve, officially. So
yeah.
We actually are going to have some programming on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Trevor is going to be doing a
little CFP preview for the games.
Yeah. Forever Power 5 will come out on, I think, Monday. Rare Monday edition of Forever Power 5.
Just moving the chess pieces, baby.
Moving the goalposts, moving the chess pieces. So, yeah, a lot of programming, even though...
and the ETV Lounge gets open for business on January 5th at 7 o'clock Pacific time.
The scary part is that's like quickly approaching now. Oh. And we have some people ready to go for that, so I'm happy about that. You're going to get 2 late night shows starting in the new year. Yeah, that guy over there. And Nick D on Saturdays. So actually, I need you to update that on the lounge Twitter. Actually, yes, Christy, ETB Lounge coming soon. Yes.
Oh.
So yeah, both versions we decided 10 p.m. to noon. Noon. Oh God, I can't think right now. 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern time.
Yes.
Imagine if you did a show from 10 p.m. to noon Eastern. Holy shit.
Oh, thank you.
No, that's our 24-hour stream, which maybe will ever happen.
ETB's big day.
Damn. That gets me mad still now. Like that we did that on playback and now it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, well.
That was all the fun. But until then, follow us, Press Row ETB at ETB Network. If I can stop hiccuping across social media. And last episode of Press Row, like I said, December 29th, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a 4-hour extravaganza.
Oh, how about that?
Oh, yeah. And get ready for a banger blitz Sunday morning. Well, that's another thing I got to go work on, too. Actually, I'm glad that he messaged, too. Zanzinger on Saturday this week, not Sunday. We are flip-flopping his 2 pieces of content. So Zanzinger is already scheduled for 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Actually, there's gonna be 2 shows tomorrow. So it'd be Zanzinger at 3:00 and Between the Ropes at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So we got 2 shows tomorrow, and then we count down the days for New Year, and then we get off and running in 2026.
There we go.
Until then, have a good rest of your day. We won't bug you anymore for the rest of the day, I promise.
Yes, we're done. We're going. We're going to go eat and enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, I might have to go have another glass of wine at this point.
Exactly.
All right, for that guy over there, I'm Nick Morgasen. Have a good day, everybody. We will see you next time.